Hello, it's Arisa Karata, and today we're gonna talk about drafting a novel. If you're new to the literary world, you must be thinking, wait, what is that again? Well, to put it simply, let's just say you're sitting in your roofless car in a summer afternoon, getting sunburned to death, vibing to some music, when an amazing plot line hits your head. And then you start thinking about it, imagining a sequence of events where each affects the next one through the principle of cause and effect, and it slowly develops into a good story. That, my man, is plotting. Now, you go back home and write it down somewhere. Just a small rough copy mentioning certain bullet points and key events of character traits on a piece of paper so that you don't forget this amazing plot in your head. That is drafting. One of the most essential components of novel writing is plotting and drafting. Because if your story is ass, no one's gonna read it no matter how well it's written. Similarly, if a novel is written weirdly, then you're gonna annoy both yourself as you write it, and the poor reader who's tormenting himself reading your work and being like, what in the bloody fuck is this author smoking these days? We want to avoid situations like those. So therefore, today I'm going to teach you how to create a draft for your novel. Now, to make it simpler, we're going to divide your entire novel into 3 acts and name them first act, second act, and third act respectively. Let's create a timeline for these acts, shall we? The first act consists of 25% of your novel. And this is a game changer, boys. This is where you're gonna attract readers or repel them from your book, so listen carefully. We'll first start with a hookup. Yes, we're gonna start with hooking up the reader with your story. The opening moment is the opening scene. The first thing that happens in your story, possibly even the first line, can hook up your reader real bad. There are a couple of things that we should avoid when we're starting a book. I'll be making a separate video on that, so stay tuned. Setup. This is where your readers learn about your characters, their goals, their stakes, their favorite underwear, whatever. Avoid information dump here though, like you will get numerous instances in your book to express your character's personality. The beginning? That ain't one of it, chief. Then we move on to an inciting event. This is where a turning point occurs in the book. This is the call for adventure. The moment where the normal world is significantly rocked by the conflict. Which leads us to the build-up. The final pieces necessary for the main conflict are moved into position. This is where you have your chance to build up mystery and ensure your reader asks for more or looks forward for further chapter. Then we move on to our first plot point. A major event takes place, and this major event is also a minor plot twist. The first plot point is usually the introduction of the antagonist, which then takes us to our second act. The second act consists of 50% of your novel. Remember, by this time, your first key event has taken place, so the obvious thing to follow it is reaction. This is where the protagonist comes to understand the obstacles thrown in his way by the antagonist. And maybe know a bit of the antagonist too, you know? What kind of person is that mad lad? Why is he trying to destroy a world that has creatures like dogs in it? They are so adorable. Like, oh my god, I love dogs. Then you move on to your first pinch point. This is where you throw some spotlight on the antagonist and highlight their character and their power, which provides new clues about the nature of the conflict. You know, just show how big of a bad, sassy bitch your antagonist is. Then the realization hits. This is where your protagonist undergoes major character development and starts seeing things from a different light. Now, how to show character development is a rather lengthy topic, which, we'll cover in some other video later. But after realization has hit you, we move on to the moment of truth. This is where you're midway in your book, which means you, as an author, needs to ensure that your readers realize your central plot. No more beating around the bush. This is where the novel starts becoming more direct and assertive, and you push forward your main theme to your maximum potential. You realize the nature of your conflict. Is it a person versus person conflict? Is it a person versus nature conflict? Is it a person versus group conflict? Or is it a group versus group conflict? Just what in the hell is it? If you want to know more about the nature of conflicts in general, this is a wonderful video for you, so go check it out. Alright, now that we're done with most of the basic things, we move on to action. Because you want to go deeper into your book, and your protagonist starts evolving his personality. You get to show moments of how he has grown up, and with his new understanding, your protagonist makes headway against the antagonist. And that leads us to our second pinch point. This is where you foreshadow your third plot point, and also remind the protagonist what is at stake. This is a wonderful time for flashbacks and subplots to emerge that somehow connect to the end of your novel. Now, this is a great tip that I'm gonna give you. If you're new or a beginner at writing, you want to keep your focus on one character itself. If you're gonna keep your focus on like 50 different characters and you are a beginner writer, you're just asking God to come and fuck you in the ass. And that's not something pleasant, so let's just not do that. And like this, the second pinch point ends in darkness and leads us to the third act. The third act consists of the last 25% of your novel. This is crucial. We start with the third plot point, the fall. This is where you bring out the sympathy factor from your reader for your character. Make them lose something that may or may not come back. Emotional tension is usually added to this part of your draft, where the protagonist reels as he questions his choices, his commitment, his purpose, and his abilities, leading your way to the waited encounter. The climax. This is where the protagonist and antagonist come face to face. This is an intense segment, leading way to one of my favorite segments, plot twists. Something unexpected happens. It can be extremely bizarre, but it has to be something that no one ever imagined it to be. When I say bizarre, doesn't mean it has to be nonsensical or completely trash. Alright, like try to make sense of it. Use your brain to its maximum potential, because this is what is going to leave a strong impact of your book into the reader's mind. So make sure to put all your head into it. Stupid plot twists are usually disappointing, and they just leave a feeling of dissatisfaction among your readers, which leaves a bad impression, and all your previous effort is just put to wane. We don't want that now, do we? After plot twist comes confrontation, which consists of a duel to literal or metaphorical death. A duel to death. What occurs here ensures either one wins. P.S. Antagonists can win too, but in that case it's simply called a tragedy. Then comes the climactic moment, where the goal of the protagonist is met and it becomes a physical impossibility for the conflict to continue. And then comes the resolution. You ease the readers out of the excitement of the climax into the final emotion, followed by domestication, where you show the afterlife of the characters, including the protagonist, in a few paragraphs. Please don't write chapters and chapters for domestication. It's quite literally a few paragraphs, and that's it. And thus, your draft is complete. Congratulations! Now you can actually sit your ass down and write a book. And remember, you can make changes in the draft midway as you write the book. It's just a rough copy of your ideas, and ideas tend to evolve over time.
At least mine do. I don't know about you, dumbasses.
That being said, thank you for watching. For more literary content, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to never miss an update. I'll try to update more often, if I feel like it, of course, but I'll try. Keep writing till you surprise yourself. Peace out. Now go practice, you dumb cunt.
Hey, you there. Do you like gaming content? Then click on the link below. I'm labeled as the editor. You can go to my channel, subscribe, and watch some fun stuff.